Hi, and welcome to this edition of Tech Clarity TV. I'm Jim Brown, president of Tech Clarity, where we make the business value of technology clear. Today I want to talk to you about a very important topic, the future of the STEM workforce. STEM, or science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, is extremely important to having the right people available to fill our engineering and manufacturing jobs and continue to support those industries. Wrote a report recently on developing the STEM workforce of the future. During the report, I had the chance to talk to a wide variety of people from different perspectives. I had the chance to talk to manufacturers directly, and specifically the people that are responsible for working with academia and working with developing the future workforce. I spoke directly with people in academia. I spoke with people in government and other programs that are really trying to make a difference and prepare people for the future workforce. And last but not least, also talk to an engineering student to try and understand their perspective on this as well. So, as far as the technical workforce gap, first and foremost, the people that I talked to, throughout this really confirmed that there is an issue. There's been plenty of research on this, and it wasn't really the focus of this study, but definitely it was clear that there's a problem. And one of the clear things that came through in the message is that the way today's academic programs are put together really are not meeting the needs. So, why is the current system not effective? Again, there's general agreement that job-ready candidates are just not available, and that there's a lot of retraining that needs to happen when people fresh out of academics come into a manufacturing company or come into an engineering job. And I think the participants in the study were very quick not to point blame. They were very clear that this is a systemic issue, and that there's been a lot of change in the types of jobs that are available as we move to more knowledge workers and STEM becomes more important, and that the system is difficult to change. There's a lot of factors and influences on it that are not readily changeable, and so because of that, companies need to find a way to augment the current education system at the same time that we're trying to change it. So one of the things that the participants pointed out is really the need for experiential learning, augmenting that theoretical knowledge, which is important, with things that they're really going to use in the workforce. Part of that is actually getting involved in design and getting involved in manufacturing during the academic process, as opposed to just learning in a lecture hall or learning through books. The other thing that came out very clearly is the need to understand not just the processes and the theory, but the real tools and techniques that are used. And that includes industrial strength software, the computer-aided design, computer-aided engineering. Those types of tools are also extremely important, and how those fit into the overall design and product development process is something that really is hard to get experience with during your academic career. The good news is that during the process of this research, I had the chance to talk to quite a few different companies and also the programs that they're partnered with. For example, I talked to a company in the UK called Green Power that's working in the automotive industry with races that start actually in K through 12. I talked to Argonne National Laboratories, which actually runs a program called EcoCar, and we're actually on EcoCar 3 now as the program. Fantastic program that actually involves real automobiles and changing them around in a virtual environment, but then also in the physical environment and racing them. And as I mentioned before, the importance of using industrial strength tools. These actually are done with a GM car, but with software from companies like Siemens PLM that actually are the same tools that the automotive industry uses. The critical thing about these programs is that they are partnerships. They've got people from industry that are involved, they got people from academia that are involved, and they've got people from government as well as people from software companies. And each play a very important role. Another program we looked at, for example, is PACE. PACE is also in the automotive industry, and one of the great things about that is it's collaborative, and different teams teams are made up from people from across different universities, and they have to collaborate the same way that people do in the real manufacturing and engineering environment today. And again, using real processes, real tools. So the one thing, though, that I think is important to talk about, the important theme that came across through all of these, is that they're practical, they're real world, but they're also engaging and fun. And that brings me to a conversation I had with Lucas Schultz. He's a student, now actually a master's student in engineering at Virginia Tech. And his story is not that different than many I've heard, in fact, perhaps my own. He went into engineering because he could, and his guidance counselor said, you've got these capabilities. But when he got there, he wasn't necessarily enjoying it, and he wasn't engaged because he wasn't seeing what he was going to do with it. He was just learning the theory. He actually got involved in the EcoCar program and through a friend, and talks about a real transformation that really got him engaged and saw what he was doing. And what that did is give him real experience, but also a real level of confidence that he can join the workforce. And when he goes there, that he's going to have used the same tools and the same processes that industrial strength automotive engineers are using today. And these programs are actually go beyond even the engineers. They go into other fields like marketing and communications and the business aspect of development. So there's a tremendous wealth of things that can be learned. I'll share one last story from Lucas. When I really knew that he was ready to walk into an automotive company and work is when he said, I recognize that that the CAD model doesn't always match exactly what was on the shop floor. And he talked about using a hammer and a grinder, which is one of those pieces of experience. That's a level of experience that most people take a little while actually in an industrial setting to figure out. So what are my key takeaways? First of all, the research definitely confirmed that there is a gap, that the current academic process is not working, and that it is being overhauled. There are changes that are being made, but they're going to take a long time. And the most practical approach in the near term are these partnerships that involve academia, but they also involve government, they also involve software companies, and they involve manufacturers. And each again play a different role. For example, a software company obviously they provide a tremendous amount of value through grants, but they also provide people and expertise on processes. But the thing that's really needed across the board is leadership, funding, and commitment, and that's in terms of dollars, but also in terms of the people that can help drive these programs and help make the STEM workforce of the future a reality. So I thank you for your time and attention. I look forward to continuing the conversation either here or elsewhere. Thanks.